privilege is real. It is. I said it's real. So because of the color of my skin, because of the color of my eyes, because of my hair texture, I get hated on.
Y'all know that story time I did years ago about how I lost a best friend and how me and her mom got into it where we almost got into a physical altercation? This is the mother. Yeah, this is Tamika. Meet Tamika, everyone. Round of applause. This is Tamika. She's just as delusional as she was years ago. And what's so interesting to me, now that I've matured into a grown woman, I have realized that people who have went their whole life without being put in their place will continue to perpetuate lies if you let them, because she has been saying these same somber ass truths to her life since I was a teenager. Yeah, the same rhetoric.
Yeah, I can definitely believe that. Like I said before, you can tell that Tamika really believed what she said. And sure, there was a little layer of trolling there, but she said what she said and she meant what she said. You can also tell what she said isn't something she just started saying yesterday. At this point, we know she's 50 years old, looking like she's every bit of 70, 75, but what she presented was really what she believed. And you can tell that was cemented in her brain from grade school. This is 5 decades of programming. I think she intended to troll when she made the video, but I don't think she intended for so many people to see it. The lady went viral. And no, I don't believe she expected her daughter's old friend to pop back up either. So yeah, that pretty privileged lady got exposed by her daughter's old friend who came out and said she's been telling the same tired story her whole life. Ever since she met her daughter, she would tell these kids about how everybody hated on her because of her skin color, her eyes, and hair texture. And she told them she's been going through that forever, which is crazy because looking at her old pictures from high school, I just can't see how anybody hated on her. You have to see for yourself to understand. All I gotta say is, girl, cut it out. At first, people gave her the benefit of the doubt, like maybe she's still living in her past. She had to be the prom queen, #1 at school. You know, that girl. But what TikTok realized real quick was she never was that girl. So it just wasn't matching up what was coming out of her mouth versus reality. Like, what? But listen to the daughter's old friend who pointed out it wasn't pretty privilege she suffered from, but she experienced deep hatred and anti-blackness from her own family members that called her and her brother, the only non-white kids of the family, the N-word.
Because that's what she is. And something that I think is so interesting is that you're sitting up here trying to convince the world that you suffered from pretty privilege because you were light-skinned with colored eyes and curly hair, when in actuality, you just suffered from racism at the hands of your own family members, your siblings, might I add. You and your brother were the only 2 mixed children in your family of rednecks. And they bullied y'all for it. They called y'all niggers, and they still continue to call y'all niggers. But y'all just grew to accept it because y'all love y'all family. That's what I was told. And to mind my business, because it's family business. Remember that? Or we don't remember that because we don't want to tell the world the truth. Something else that I think is so interesting is also when light-skinned women who aren't pretty claim that they suffered from pretty privilege because they were light-skinned with, you know, colored eyes and curly hair, the features that people assume will make you attractive, and they're just ugly. You suffered from racism and being ugly, and you were fat. So no, you had nobody hated on you because you were just so pretty. People hated on you because you were a bitch. You were a mean, evil spirited fat bitch. That's what you were. And you know something else? I just think it's so embarrassing for your daughter to represent Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, and this is what you do. You continue to be a queen, even when you have every resource at your disposal to not be.
Okay, so that's the daughter's ex-friend. She knew Tamika very well, saying what many suspected. Lady, people didn't dislike you because of your looks. I mean, really, there was nothing to be jealous of in the first place. But it was more so her nasty attitude that turned people off. And that nasty attitude seemed to be directed towards black people. We're talking about learned anti-black behavior that was programmed into her by her own family members. So yeah, Tamika came back out trying to play nice nasty, clapping back at her daughter's old friend. Take a look.
I recently posted a video that went viral for the wrong reasons. I have since taken it down in all the related videos, and I do want to say a couple things. First, I will be addressing Miracle, the young lady who has done a stitch and it went viral. I will be addressing that. Just give me a second. But first, I want to apologize. I want to apologize to all the people who I've offended, all the people who I've pissed off. I meant nothing by that video. I wasn't trying to bash the young crowd. I wasn't trying to bash anybody who's got more melanin than me. I wasn't trying to bash anybody who's more prettier than me. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty girl, and I was just saying some stuff to just have some fun. Like, I like to, you know, have some fun sometimes. I'm somewhat of a clown, and sometimes I say the wrong shit, okay?
And see, this right here is the disingenuous part for me. It wasn't just clowning. Tamika was trolling. And again, she believed what she said to be true in her own mind. Her video was also intentional. So why take the videos down? And why is she apologizing? That's who she really is. Those are her own opinions. Nah, the reason why she really took it down and she's apologizing is because TikTok clapped down on this lady and they ain't turned her loose yet. That's what happened. Listen, if she was raised by white family members calling her the N-word, I can already imagine what she's going through and how they shaped her whole outlook. This is who she is. The problem for her is she decided to take this show on a TikTok instead of just saving that conversation for her usual kitchen table talk that she would share with anybody who came over to her house. That's it.
So I basically said something in the wrong way that pissed a lot of people off. I want to say I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean anything by it. I'm just talking, okay? That being said, Miracle. First off, baby, let me just tell you that you have turned out to be a beautiful young lady on the outside. But your insides need some work. So Miracle was my daughter's friend in, I think, middle school and high school and a little bit in college. To me, she was a sweet young lady until stuff popped off. But she, during COVID, she was in college. She and my daughter were both in college at different places. But when they all made them come home, she didn't really have a place comfortable enough that she wanted to come home to. And so she asked me, could she come stay with us? I was like, yeah. I took her in, treated her as if she were mine. That didn't go too well. And it ended up in the police being called. Like, it was a bad situation. And she's been bullying my daughter on the internet ever since. Will my daughter respond to it? Absolutely not. So people are going to my daughter's page right now saying, are you going to take up for your mom? No, she won't. She will not be. I have asked her not to.
Smart move, because unless you want to drag this out as a 50-part Tisa, the best thing to do is shut up, because it's not going to go in a good direction. Personally, I think this response is too long already. Yeah, it's already longer than the original video. Like I'm telling you, lady, you might just want to pack this up, because when you mix the white people issues and the black people issues, anti-black stuff going on, girl, there's no way you're explaining yourself out of that. Especially if you come down to this internet and try to defend it. Just go ahead and pack it up, Tina.
My daughter is more mature than that, and she's not going to get off into that immature stuff, okay? So, but Miracle, I can't, for the life of me, understand you fat shaming somebody. Miracle called me a fat bitch, okay? I think a fat, ugly bitch, if I'm being exact. I can't, for the life of you, understand you fat shaming anybody, knowing what you went through, baby, as a child. I can't understand that. And I'm not with knocking somebody, while they down or, whatever. So that's that on that. Miracle is the young lady who recently, I think within the last 4 or 5 months, was issued a warrant for her arrest because she beat a Uber driver up. That was a news reporter, I think. So that's who Miracle is.
And see, Tisha, this is why nobody feels sorry for you. She's addressing everything except what was said. Is your family anti-black? Did they run around saying the N-word to you growing up and continue that behavior, spewing the N-word around your children and your children's friends? And for the life of me, why will you bring other black kids around those people, exposing them to that type of disgusting behavior? She's not talking about that at all. Nah, she's up here trying to deflect and bring up some unrelated incident that's got nothing to do with the claims. I can see very clear what Tanya's issue is here. And I'm sure other Black people can see it too when they're around her, because she can't help herself. No matter how much she try to hide it, it's always right there below the surface. She really can't help it. And what she's also exposing about herself is the real reason why she try to hang around Black people. It's because in her mind, she's superior. So being around the Blacks make her feel better about herself, while being around the whites make her feel bad because her own family treat her like trash and remind her that she's not one of them.
And Miracle had a lot to say about my family. She had a lot to say about my daughter, both of them. She ended up telling my daughter while she was doing her bullying rants that, I mean, imagine being a child, being in your teens, and one of your friends, after your sister dies, goes onto the internet because she's upset with you and tells you to go to hell with your dead sister. Who does that?
Yeah, that's extremely nasty. You're also just telling one side of the story of some kids' drama. And this is just how low this undeveloped so-called elder is going to take this just to defend the anti-Black behavior that was instilled in her by her family. She's up here talking about some drama or an argument that her daughter had with her friend as kids. Obviously, it wasn't too much of a problem because years later in college, you allowed the girl to come over there and stay during the pandemic. So why do y'all really think she brought that up? And you can tell her daughter is more mature than her because her daughter knew not to come out here and do what her dumb, ignorant mama is doing right now. Yeah, her daughter read the room already, but her mom is illiterate. Black lady, you trying to troll and play these young girl games on the internet as an AARP card holder is crazy work. She's really too old for this. And then you see how her trying to get all this attention on social media is selfishly impacting the people around her? Because let's be clear, what she's really doing right now is setting her own daughter up to cover for herself while pretending like she's shielding her daughter. There's no way you're shielding your daughter by engaging in this mess right now at your big age.
Like, who does that? That is so mean. That is so mean, Miracle. And I hope that you go and get you the mental help that you need. So that you don't have to be mean to people. That's mean girl energy right there. And I really hope you go and get you some help for that. I don't know what, I know hurt people, but baby, you gotta let this go. You've been bullying my daughter, and now you done started on my family. Now my family's racist, and all this, like, you're doing the most. And so ultimately, you guys can believe her. You guys can believe what you want to believe, whichever side you want to believe. That's up to you. I am neither here nor there with it. I'm okay with whatever way y'all want to believe, because don't none of y'all pay my bills at the end of the day.
Whatever, I do what I want.
And at the end of the day, I still believe I'm a pretty woman. So I want to again say I'm sorry that the words that I said pissed people off. And I hope that this actually helps you all heal from my internet abuse. Because I didn't know. I was like, what the? So, yeah, it helped my algorithm, though. Thank you, TikTok, for actually sending stuff out. But it's a shame that only the negative gets sent out, because I have a whole lot of positive that don't go out. So we got a long way to go in America. And I hope you all are having a good day. And I'm going to go ahead and have the day that I deserve. I love y'all. Bye.
Come here. Shut your stupid ass up.
This is propaganda 101. She learned from the best. One, I don't know who she's trying to fool, but she didn't do that video to apologize. She did that video to clap back at the daughter's old friend and try to get the public on her side instead, which, by the way, is not going to happen. But that's what she tried to do. Not once did she address the N-word claims, which is a problem, especially if you have family members saying this stuff around other Black people too. At that point, the energy wasn't just directed to you, but it also came at your children and other people around them outside of your family. And we all see what's up. She's defending all that hatred in her family while sitting up there trying to get us to reprimand the daughter's old friend for some stuff that happened back in middle school as a minor. This right here told me everything I needed to know. Lady, you are the problem and you've been the problem.
Something that I will always think is so interesting is when people be like, I'm gonna address blah blah blah, but you have blah 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 blocked. Cool, whatever. But something that I think is interesting is when you could have addressed me in person when I was working at LOA, when you walked in with the African man that you be getting money from, you didn't say a word to me. When both of y'all had the opportunities to address me in real life, y'all never have. And to sit on social media and try and make it seem like I'm harassing y'all, I think is laughable, to say the very least, because in actuality, I have never contacted y'all ever. Y'all just miraculously be the same places I am. Let's talk about that, because your daughter miraculously was at Target 3 times, and she was also at Saks. And every time y'all have seen me, y'all look flustered and had not an ounce of a word to say. But continuing on from that, I just personally think if I were you, I would be very mindful at social media today, because I don't think any medical school would take too kindly to your daughter getting people to threaten me and admitting it. I don't think any medical school would take too kindly your family members threatening me on your daughter's behalf. I don't think anybody in general would take too kindly to people harassing me over the years, even as far as June 2025. So again, I personally wouldn't address me at all, because I was actually still very nice to you. And if I'm being quite frank, my niceness has really run out with y'all. Because unlike y'all, I don't sit around for years bothering y'all. Y'all bother me. So if you want to tell the world that you just helped me and I was just ungrateful, I guess. But I don't know nobody that's ungrateful. If I'm giving you $200 a month to live in your home, I'm also applying for food stamps because you told me to, because that was something that was going to be a requirement if I lived with you. And I also don't know nobody that would allow a grown-ass woman to be claiming another person's child on their taxes simply because I live with y'all. Tell the world that. Or is that still too much? Girl, bye.
And this is what I'm talking about. Tamika is a Karen. She's got a pattern of stirring junk up and then running crime victim. She's messy. She's also an OG city girl out here trying to scam food stamps and child tax credits, allegedly, out here trying to get money off men. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And my thing is, she already knew all this stuff about herself. Why on earth would she even come out making that response video, adding more fuel, further embarrassing herself and exposing her family? That's just stupid. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about this below. If you missed the first video, you can check it out right now. It's on the screen coming up next. Something is deeply wrong with this woman trying to play victim. And I'm telling you, if she continues in this direction, it's going to get real bad for her family. Because half of what's really going on with these people, it ain't even hit the internet yet.